listening to Reality Wrap. I'm your host, Melanie. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Reality Wrap. Today we will be recapping last night's episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 4, Episode 14. We think it's 14.
Yeah, I think it was too. How are we doing tonight, team?
So before we get started, I went out to Twitter just to see if we had any tweets from LD Millionaire after last night's episode. And it looks like Monica actually tweeted something. She put out on her Twitter, "I'm just going to say this. Production spoke with my family in Bermuda, communicated with them, met with them in Bermuda, went to their homes and visited them, signed stuff to film for my birthday and everything. So people claiming I don't have family there or it was a lie can continue to believe what they wish. It will not change the truth." So people thought she was lying about her family being there?
Well, for a split second, I kind of wondered the same thing. You know, I was like, is she scamming them? But then I was like, nah, no way. So it was just because I don't know. I get that vibe.
Yeah, that never crossed my mind that she would have made that up, because I feel like production would have been too involved in that and they would have figured it out right away.
The trip without, like it would have been like, Monica, we can't reach your family. Yeah. We're not booking the trip until someone says hello.
Yeah.
I'm sure that.
Because the whole reason they went there was for her to reconnect with her family. Heather even says that in this episode in one of her talking heads. Yeah. So I don't know why people would think that she made that up. Anyways,
the show would have to in on it.
Yeah, I mean, unless they did it on purpose. But
now
that's
we're in
not
a
what
rabbit
happened.
hole, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
now we've gone into a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Anyways, then Monica also tweeted, "Linda, I called you tonight. No answer, but I see you're available on here on this Twitter app, where the world can continue to see this dysfunction. At that time, I did believe that you had something to do with it, which I told you on the phone a couple of days ago. You then talked to me and showed me texts and we cleared it up, and now I know. However, that does not take away from what I felt and thought happened at the time. Yes, I know now. In that moment, I did not know anything. I was blindsided and I felt humiliated and embarrassed and crushed. However, I still have no idea what happened and why they backed out. There you go. Your name is cleared. Looking at our relationship, your behavior on Twitter alone, you can see how me thinking that you could have been involved was not out of the realm of possibilities." Oh, so her mom was not involved. "You could have gone to Twitter and confirmed we have family there, since people aren't believing that. But this is important to you. Anyways, I hope you can sleep better now since I have told the whole truth." So her mom didn't have anything to do with it.
Then why did they bail on her?
She doesn't know.
So she initially blamed her mom, but
she said she thought,
came to the conclusion that...
I guess her mom showed that she didn't have anything to do with it. So then LD Millionaire says, "Monica, you called me at 6:05. You know I work until 7 p.m. You're making it sound like I avoided you, which I didn't." Huh, interesting.
It's crazy time.
Yeah. So her mom really did. I was convinced her mom had something to do with it.
Need time apart.
So like they weren't talking like as of a couple weeks ago, right? Because she was talking about it, I believe. BravoCon, she was saying that her and her mom aren't talking anymore. Right. But now she says, "We just talked a couple of days ago." So she obviously is talking to her mom now. Huh. Interesting. And she wanted her mom to come onto Twitter and point out that she does
how can
have...
you be fighting with your mom?
I don't know.
On Twitter even just a few weeks ago, and now she's helping you on Twitter. I mean...
She was expecting her mom to help her and come out and say, I guess because people believe that she didn't have family there and it was fake. She says here, "You could have gone to Twitter and confirmed we have family there, since people are not believing that. But this is too important too. Anyways, I hope you could sleep better now."
I slept fine.
She was talking to her mom. Anyways, that's kind of interesting. Boy, that really like kind of makes this whole thing a little different, that her mom didn't have anything to do with it.
Or she didn't show her the burner phone she used to call.
Yeah, or her mom did have something to do with it, but didn't.
Yeah.
But she says she doesn't know why they backed out. Couldn't her mom find that out? It's her mom's family.
I don't know. Maybe.
That's interesting. Maybe they didn't want to be on camera, but why wouldn't they just tell her we didn't want to be on camera?
I don't know. Well, then they could have just still done the visit and then talked about it.
Yeah, we just don't want it filmed.
No, but it was weird, and I initially did blame the mom. I mean,
I did too. Up until I just read this.
Yeah.
I didn't see. I saw her tweet, but I hadn't read underneath it,
So
and then I
saw
saw her
reunion. We'll find out what happened.
No, because this is
Yeah,
today.
you're right.
Unless they don't want to talk about what's happening on the reunion.
Yeah, they're not allowed to talk about the reunion.
Yeah, but I think she would have said we cleared it up on the reunion. I feel like she would have said that. I don't know. That's pretty interesting, though. So her mom didn't have anything to do with it. Learn something new every day. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get into the recap. So it's the morning of Monica's birthday. Heather is decorating for Monica's birthday breakfast because she is the queen of birthday breakfast parties. Heather still seems pissed off at Whitney after Whitney told her to shut the fuck up. Meredith, of all people, says, I don't believe that anybody should speak to somebody like that. Period. And then they flash back to her saying, you want me to talk about the husbands?
I love the producers of this show.
I know.
They're good producers.
Yeah. Whitney apologizes to Heather, and Heather's like, don't ever speak to me like that again. And then, so they like half-assed hug each other, like that fake hug, and I guess they make up, which actually, according to next week, looks like they're still fighting. But anyway, that's next week. That's for the future. Monica comes down the stairs and they all wish her a happy birthday. Monica thanks them and she gets emotional and she tells them that in all of her life she's never had a birthday party like this. And I'm like, even when she was married, you would think like when she was married she would have had something. Yeah, like I would assume at some point they were happily married, at least early on in their marriage. I don't know.
I know.
I mean, she really doesn't talk about it much.
Sad.
Yeah, that is sad. I mean, maybe not in her childhood because she did have LD Millionaire as her mother, but I don't know.
Mom of the Year, never know.
Yeah. Anyway, so she tells him that she's going to go see her family from her mom's side that she hasn't seen in 30 years. And she tells them that her mom wanted to come, but after her mom, who was the one who suggested that they go to therapy, didn't show up to the therapy appointment. And then we see the flashback of that, and Monica's sitting there, and it's just her and the therapist, and she was like, this was my mom's idea. It wasn't even my idea. And she didn't even show up. She decided to leave her mom behind. So that's pretty interesting that her mom did not come to the therapy appointment, and her mom was the one who suggested it when they were at that dinner. She was like, we need to go to therapy together. And she's like, okay, we could try that again, and you can pretend to be a different person, remember?
Well, at least this time she didn't pretend to be a different person.
She just didn't show up.
She was exactly who she was. And no, she's mom of the year in front of the cameras, and then she's whatever monster she becomes when the cameras turn off.
Yeah.
I would love to be a fly on that wall.
Yeah. So dysfunctional.
Yeah.
So dysfunctional. So after breakfast, they all go to get ready to go jet skiing. Monica texts Lisa and asks her to come to her room. So Lisa goes up to her room and Monica asks her if she'll go with her to go see her family. And Lisa agrees to go, and she thinks it's going to be cool to see like kind of where Angie came from and to like better understand her. Which I thought was kind of weird that of all the people there, she asks Lisa to go.
Well, I thought it was nice of Lisa to go, or to accept. I don't know, like she said, we're on a really good trajectory.
Yeah.
And I'd like to keep that going.
Yeah.
By sharing this with you. I mean, she's very, open about that. So, no, it made sense,
Yeah.
And Lisa's good in those situations, right?
I think all of them would have been fine in those situations, but I feel like out of the whole group, Lisa was always the one that triggered her. So why now? I get it. Yes, they're working on their friendship.
For me, I would have actually invited Heather.
Right, because she planned the trip with Heather.
Trip.
Or Meredith, because she was the only one who was concerned about Meredith when Meredith wasn't feeling well and all of that. You would think she'd ask Meredith to go.
Right, but
that's why I was like, Lisa? That was weird to me, but
yeah,
that's just me.
I would have asked Heather if it were me. Heather brought me there. Heather's why I'm here. So that's,
Yeah, well, kind of. I mean,
she coordinated it.
Show
She picked
wants
the
us
house.
to believe.
She picked the house. She did all that. Sure, she gets credit for it at least.
I wonder if she's trying to build some sort of an alliance with Lisa.
I don't know,
because she knows that Meredith, or she's starting to suspect that Meredith had something to do with the Angie stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's kind of how I viewed it.
Mare Bear's kind of shady.
Oh, for sure, for sure. She then tells Lisa all about how Meredith had told her that she believes that Angie is in the Greek mafia and that she had received DMs with financial documents showing that Angie owes money to the IRS and is bankrupt and, doesn't have the money that she says she does. And Lisa's like, I think it's Meredith that did that because the same thing happened to me last year about my businesses and with my filings, and she was the one who brought it up and said that some anonymous account had DM'd her, and she thinks that Meredith is now setting Monica up to do her dirty work to get back at Angie. It does kind of appear to be that way. If you really look at Meredith's history with the people she's had fights with, and how like these DMs like come out of nowhere, and it's always the people sent it to Meredith and she's the one who brings it forward. And then I've seen this point made online: how would an anonymous account know that Monica was even in the show? Because this was her first season, she wasn't introduced. So why would somebody know to send her these particular DMs with Angie's financial documents in it? Why would they send them to her?
Right.
We didn't know about her yet.
Right. And didn't Meredith and Monica get the
Right.
original DM at the same time, or roughly at the same time?
Yeah, and Meredith got the DMs, called Monica and said, "Hey, I got these DMs.
Did Meredith call anyone else?
No." And I saw a clip of her from Watch What Happens Live last night, and of course I can't find the clip. But anyways, she was saying something along the lines of the reason that she called Monica was because on the plane ride home from Palm Springs, Monica was talking to her about Angie K's finances. And so when she got these DMs that had information about Angie K's finances, that is why she called Monica. And then someone also asked, I think Andy asked her, do you think that Monica had something to do with sending the DMs? And she said, no, that never even occurred to me. Why would somebody ever do that?
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. So I don't know.
So that would mean that Meredith is maintaining there's a third party sending DMs.
I guess so, as of right now. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, if she's saying Monica doesn't do it.
Or she didn't, it never crossed her mind that to think that Monica was the one who had something to do with the DMs. Right.
So that would imply.
So yeah, it does imply that she doesn't believe it. I don't know.
Or that she at least believes someone else is sending the DMs.
The DMs, yeah. I guess, yeah. I don't know. The whole thing is weird. Well,
it's weird because it happened last season.
Yes, exactly, with Lisa. And I guess Lisa on Twitter said that somebody made the same point where how would anybody know to send her a DM? Nobody knew she was going to be on the show. And then Lisa underneath that tweet said, I said the same thing.
Remember what lightning does not strike?
Twice. So they all get into the Sprinter van to go jet skiing, and for some reason Monica thinks it's appropriate to ask Heather if her oldest daughter has had sex yet. And understandably, Heather's like, I don't want to talk about my daughter's sex life. Which I thought that was kind of weird too. I know she's an adult and she lives on her own out in Santa Barbara. She's in college, but still, like, I don't care if you're 40. I'm not gonna. You know what I mean? Like,
it was inappropriate.
It was super inappropriate to ask that. I don't know. And then she was like, come on, you're a bad Mormon. I'm like, there's a big difference between you personally being a bad Mormon and then like talking about your daughter's sex life.
Yeah, bad Mormon, play on words.
Also, can we just note the crazy sunglasses that Heather was wearing? She looked like a bug. So they arrive to the jet ski place and they go jet skiing, and then they go out into the ocean and they're feeding bread to fish, which was pretty cute.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. I'm with, was it Heather who was scared of jet skiing? I'm like that too. I'm like the super slow person out on the water. Me.
Going slow on those is actually harder than going fast.
The balance,
way
right?
more stable.
Yeah,
when you're zipping along than especially when you got someone in the back who doesn't know what they're doing, and so it just makes the teetering worse.
Yeah. Do you remember the time when we fell in the water oh my God, where were we? In Illinois.
Island.
We were in
Blarney's
Island, and the water was so brown and gross.
I sank in that lake bottom.
Oh my God, and there was things touching my feet, and we couldn't get back onto the back of the stupid wave runner. I was like, oh my God, get me out of here. I felt a
dead foot.
I know. A hand was touching my foot.
Oh, it was so gross. I'm getting chills.
Yeah.
Just thinking about that lake bottom.
So they finish up their jet skiing and they get back onto the Sprinter van to go back to the house, and you see Monica and she's looking at her phone, and she suddenly just gets up and she runs off of the van into the bathroom crying. Lisa gets up and follows her, and she's asking her what's wrong. And Monica tells her that her mom made her family not want to meet her. And she's like, what? Why would she do that to you? And she's like, I don't know. But see, now we hear, it doesn't sound like her mom had anything to do with it. Yeah, on that tweet. Interesting. Anyway, so Lisa gets her to go back onto the van, and all the other ladies ask her what's wrong. And she starts crying again. And Lisa's like, can I tell them? And she's like, yeah, go ahead. And so she explains what happened, and Monica really starts crying, and she's saying things like, I feel like I have no family. And they're all like, oh my God, you totally have family. You have 4 beautiful daughters. They're your family. And, everybody was really
I know. I thought
her.
about that when she said that. I was like, man. I mean, I know she didn't mean it that way, but if her daughters are watching, they're just
they're little kids, but the oldest daughter,
yeah, the one in the car driving them around,
who's watching everybody,
soccer games and everything,
yeah. So, and it was funny when Whitney was consoling her, and Lisa was like, "It's okay, Monica, it's okay," and I was like, I wonder if there's a little part of Whitney right now that's jealous that Lisa's consoling Monica. Oh. That was what she wanted.
How the tides have turned.
I know, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they get back to the house, and they're having lunch out on the beach, and Lisa suggests that they should play Marry, Fuck, Kill with the husbands and ex-husbands. I know.
Why do they play games? Any of these housewives.
I don't know.
They should just play a game, I think I've said it before, called Let's Fight. And just play that game.
Well, that, and then have it be about your husbands and ex-husbands. I'm like, oh, that's bad. Like, that's just asking for trouble. Although it was fine. So they go around and they do their answers. And it sounds like most everybody would have married either Justin or John. And Heather says she chooses Seth for all 3 of her answers. First, she'd fuck him. Then she'd marry him. Then she'd kill him and take all of his money. I was like, that was a great answer, Heather.
That was the best answer.
It was.
That's why I love Heather.
After the game, Lisa asks Angie to take a walk with her. So they go on a walk, and Lisa tells Angie what Monica had told her about Meredith saying that she was in the Greek mafia, and how Monica was sent these DMs about her being in a bankruptcy and like how she owes all this money to the IRS. And, this is exactly what Meredith did to her last year. And Angie gets pissed, and she's like, oh, she wants to play tough with me. She wants to see, I don't know, she made some sort of a reference to being in the mafia. She's like, I'm not in the mafia. I work really hard for my money. And then she calls Meredith a fraud because she's like, here, she's saying she wants to go forward with me. And now she turns around and she's doing stuff or saying stuff like this. Somebody at one point too says something. They compared her to being in The Sopranos, and I was like, "That's the wrong mafia. That's the Italian mafia,
not I remember that.
The Greek mafia." I think it was Heather.
But I don't think there's any Greek mafia TV shows. I think
that's true.
Trying to bridge.
Sopranos was like hands down one of the best all-time shows ever. I think I've watched it like 100 times.
I've seen it twice. It's good.
I've seen it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
I think in a former life I was from New Jersey because I like all things New Jersey. I love the New Jersey Housewives. I love the Mob Wives. I love the Sopranos.
Hold on. Everyone loves Mob Wives.
Oh my God.
Everyone.
That was such a great show. I know. R.I.P. Big Ange.
R.I.P. Big Ange. I loved it.
So they head back to the house to get ready for their pirate dinner, and Angie goes into Monica's room to let her know that Lisa had told her about what Meredith had told Monica about her being in the Greek mafia. And Monica's like, are you upset with me telling her? Because last time you had gotten upset with me for repeating something that I had heard about Sean. And Angie's like, no, I just wanted to come in here and hear it from the horse's mouth. Monica then shares with her something that she had not told Lisa. And that was that she would have never known about the DMs except for Meredith had called her to tell her to check her DMs because Meredith had received them, and she wanted to know if Monica had also received them. So Monica went into her DMs, and there they were.
And that's the rub, because Meredith called Monica unprovoked.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. So if it was Monica who sent the DMs or had anything to do with the DMs, wouldn't she have been the one to call Meredith?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just reminiscent of last year.
Yeah, for sure. She just so happened to get the DMs again from some random account. And you would think, since she went through this last year, she would have learned her lesson to not rely on random accounts that send her direct messages. I don't know.
Well, the other girls seem to be calling her out too on it.
Oh, for sure. We now get a scene where Monica calls her oldest daughter, Bree, who happens to be in line picking up one of the little girls, one of her sisters. And I had to laugh the way she was talking. She totally reminded me of like a soccer mom who's sitting in the line at school in her car, You know, like, I was like, man, she is very mature for, I think she's like, what, 17 or 18 years old?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, she's taking care of all 3 of those little girls.
Yeah, I feel bad for her.
I kind of do too. I mean, she seems like she can handle it, but I mean, she's pretty mature. I know.
That's just it. I mean, whether she can handle it or not is irrelevant, in my opinion. Be a kid.
So Monica tells her how the family that she was supposed to go see in Bermuda told her that they no longer wanted her to come, and then she kept texting them, and then they just stopped answering her texts, and that she thinks that Vovo had something to do with it. And her daughter's like, well, what could you have done to them to make them ghost you like that? And Monica's like, I don't know. And then I had a complete meltdown when I was on the bus or on the van, and her daughter's like, Mom, you know you didn't do anything to them. Anything that they heard came from Vovo, and I'm just really sorry that this happened to you. And I was like, oh. I will say, though, I kind of feel bad because I feel like she's relying a little too heavily on her oldest daughter, who seems like she can handle it. She's a super mature girl, and she doesn't seem to mind. But I'm like, for somebody who's that young, like, I feel like...
I don't think it's right that whether she can handle it or not, I don't think it's right.
No, not from someone that's young. I mean, if you're an adult and your parent comes to you and, or, you know, wants to share something with you or talk something out with you, I'm all for it.
It is hard to...
But as a 17 or an 18-year-old, I kind of feel like,
it is
I
hard
don't know
to
that they're fully equipped.
No, I know. It is hard to break all the habits, good or bad, like from our parents.
My guess is Linda heavily relied on Monica emotionally. I mean, we know that emotionally she, like, manipulated her as a child, right? I mean, clearly she's, like, not right. But my guess is Monica had to sit and listen to her mom, probably younger than 17 and 18 years old, you know, as a younger kid, you know, talk about how her father left her and all this, you know, and she didn't have a good relationship with her mother, her grandma or whatever. My guess is she sat and listened to all kinds of stuff as a child. And so to her, it's probably okay to talk to your child about things that really, you know.
You shouldn't.
Yeah. Not
until they're much older.
Right. Until they're older.
Yeah.
I agree. Either way, it seems like she did a really good job raising that kid because that kid seems like incredibly level-headed. The fact that she's 17 or 18 years old and can watch 3 little girls, her other kids are small.
Yep. No.
And Vovo clearly isn't around. They're not talking to Vovo.
No.
So she's just doing it all on her own.
Yeah.
Do you hear Odin trying to suck us through the bottom of the door?
I did.
We have a Belgian Malinois German Shepherd, and our door is closed where we are recording, and he's got his nose pressed up against the crack of the bottom of the door, and he's trying to suck us through.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It's very loud.
Anyway, so everybody meets downstairs to head out for the pirate dinner, and everybody is dressed like cute little pirates except for Lisa. She has on hoop earrings as her pirate attire, which by that example would make me a pirate like all the time because I wear hoop earrings like every couple of days. I have a pair of
Lisa's thing where she just doesn't participate in the dressing events.
Well, she did say something along the lines like, you know, I hate to dress up in costumes or whatever. So, right. And I think she had on a gold belt, but I was like, really, hoop earrings? That's what makes you a pirate?
Just let Lisa be Lisa.
Yeah, I guess so. So they load onto the Sprinter van. Whitney tells them that her costume had come with a G-string and that she thought it was an eye patch, so she was trying to put it on. And I was trying to figure out the configuration of how she was looking at that, thinking that's an eye patch. So the crotch, little crotch part she had over her eye.
I know what the problem is. There's an IQ problem. Yeah.
I was like,
there's
how would you even try and put that on?
I've had the same IQ problem. It's when I can't find the milk and it's right in front of me.
Yeah. Sean will literally open up the refrigerator and be like, where's the milk? And I'm like, in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
I'm looking and I'm like, well, it's right in front of your face. And he's like, where? And I come up and I'm like, right there.
I can imagine that though. You pick it up, you look at a G-string, and the first thing is this is going over
this is an eye patch.
Right,
clearly.
It's not going over my crotch.
So they arrived to dinner, which is in a cave, which would have been tough for me. I would have had to have a couple of drinks or something before going in there. I get super claustrophobic in caves, those tunnels that don't have lights on.
Let's not kid ourselves. You never would have gone into that cave to begin with.
I would have. Like I said, I would have needed a drink to go in there. It seemed pretty open once you got in there, and it was lit up, But yeah.
Maybe.
Like, I would have definitely been a little weirded out. So they sit down and they order their drinks, and Monica says, since I felt sex shamed earlier on the bus, I would like to ask when the last time everybody had sex was. And of course, all the married ladies say they had sex right before they came. And I was like, lies.
So the producers must have edited something out, because I didn't remember her being sex shamed on the bus. Did you?
Yeah, when she asked Heather about her daughter, if her daughter had had sex.
That's not sex shaming.
Well, I mean, that's, I think,
shaming.
Yeah, I think
You
that's
were
what she
being
was talking
stupid,
about.
Monica. Okay.
Yeah.
That wasn't sex shaming.
Yeah, so all the ladies that are married say they had sex. Heather says she's not going to answer that because it's an unfair question for her because all of them are married and she is not. Monica's like, I'm not married. And Heather's like, yes, you are. Which made no sense to me because Monica's divorced just because it's not finalized. Like, they don't live together. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not finalized yet. I mean, she's divorced, Heather. I was like, that was a dumb thing to say.
I agree.
What she should have just said is, I don't want to answer the question. Which is, she did say that. I don't want to answer
or
the
just
question.
lie.
No, because had she been like, it was last week, then everybody would have been like, oh, who was it? And then they would have wanted details. Then she would have had to go like really deep into the woods.
I would
with
have
her
said
lie.
it was Ron Glass from Niagara Falls. Just would have gone right
Was
to
that
the-
his name?
That was Brady Bunch.
I know.
Ron Glass.
Was it Ron Glass or
Yeah,
something Glass?
I think it was Donald Glass or Ron Glass.
Yeah, it was
'cause
some
she was
weird
looking at
name.
a glass of water, yeah.
Yeah. Monica points out, I am divorced, but my ex-husband refuses to sign the papers. And if I want to go fuck somebody, I'll go fuck somebody. Monica's like, don't judge my relationship just because you don't want to play the game. And I was like, okay. Lisa smartly says, well, I respect Heather's feelings that she doesn't want to answer the question, which I do as well. But saying that Monica was still married to try and get out of it was just stupid. It's a piece of paper. They're done.
I agree with Heather until she's, kind of verbally smacked Monica. And,
Yeah.
and she smacked her, though, for bringing the game up and
Well, because Monica was pressing her. Why don't you want to say? Why don't you want to
right.
say?
And, of course, Monica's being, obviously, you're either being an idiot or you're being kind of an asshole, Monica, with that one.
How long do you think it's been since Heather had sex?
I think since 2020.
You think it's been since 2020? I mean, I think that could be a possibility. But then on the other side, I'm like, she could be she came from a very religious background. So, like, for her, maybe, like, sex before marriage, she still has that, like, ingrained in her. So maybe she wouldn't talk about it. So she won't admit it.
Yeah. Didn't you say she was divorced in 2014?
Yeah, she's been divorced for
That's a long time ago.
A long time ago. I'd imagine that she's been with
Yeah.
somebody since then, but she probably doesn't want to talk about it because, she had a religious upbringing. So sex before marriage, like in her mind, whether she believes it or not, it's ingrained in her that it's a no-no. So she's not going to talk about it.
So since this whole thing is about reading into people, as if I was reading into her emotions, that she seemed upset. And if you're upset about something like that, and in a thing like, well, all the other women were going yesterday, the day before, 5 minutes ago.
Which, by the way, I bet you at least
All
two of them
lies.
were lying.
All-
Yeah,
all
because
lies.
who's like, I got to get ready to go. I got all this shit to do. Oh, and I got to fuck my
Please.
husband. I've been like, Sean, you
Even-
can wait till I get back. I laugh because it's true, guys.
It is.
Anyway, Heather then tells Monica that she should shut the fuck up, just like Whitney told her the night before. And then they all kind of get quiet. And Whitney says, we shouldn't play games anymore. And I was like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. Games never lead to good things. So then they're all sitting there and Angie's like, you know what? I want to take some of the heat off of Heather and Monica. So I'm going to bring up how...
A new game called Let's Fight.
Right. Meredith has once again come for me by saying that I'm in the Greek mafia, and Meredith denies that she ever said anything about her being in the Greek mafia. Meredith is like, I've never said that to anybody. And Monica's like, we had that very conversation. Meredith says, no, we didn't. Monica's like, we also had a conversation about the DMs we received about Angie owing money to the IRS. And I don't know who this person is, but everybody here at the table seems to think they know who it is. And then Whitney brings up how, last year there were DMs about Lisa's businesses and the SEC filings, and you were the one that brought it up. And Lisa's like, it feels the same exact way. And Meredith, of course, denies having anything to do with any of that. And Lisa's like, you're lying. It's done. You're done, Meredith. You did it to Mary. You did it to Jen. Stop doing it. You thought you could tell Monica and have her do your dirty work, just like you had Whitney do it for you last year. And if she gets one more DM, I'm going to send my cybersecurity team to check it out. I was like, she has a cybersecurity team? What does that even mean?
My guess is her hairdresser. Probably, he's certified or something like that.
She has 4 lawyers, so yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know about the 4
Yeah,
lawyers.
when she got arrested, or when Jen Shaw got arrested on the bus, she got on the phone with like all 4 of her lawyers or something to see. Yeah.
So she basically just has staff.
I guess so. She has a cybersecurity team.
She buys $60,000 rings.
Well, John bought that for her. That was a gift from John. Anyway, that is how the episode ends. It looks like next week everybody's gunning for Meredith about these DMs, and then we see Whitney and Heather go at it, and it looks like Heather kind of goes for Whitney. Like, it was hard to tell. She fell into her chair or got caught up on her chair. I couldn't tell, but it looked like she lunged forward at Whitney.
It would appear that some physical altercation
was about to happen.
May ensue.
Yeah. So anyway, that is all we have for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We will be releasing our Beverly Hills recap on Friday because Sean has to go to a dinner tomorrow night. So we aren't going to be able to record tomorrow night. But we'll definitely get it out sometime on Friday. So talk to you guys then. Bye.
Bye, all.